Let's do it. Okay. All right, you guys. All right, we are back. We just got done looking at episode 3 of Welcome to Derry. This is our spoiler discussion on set review. If you have not watched the series yet, we will have at this point up a non-spoiler review, kind of breaking down our thoughts of the series up until the first 3 episodes. But this will be our spoiler-filled review. So if you haven't seen the episode yet, go ahead and watch the episode because we're about to kind of break it down in small little chunks. But I have here Jarrell's Alexandria and I have Bizzy Ron. What's up, gentlemen?
What's up?
What up? What up?
All right, let's get right into it. So, what did you guys think about the official now history lesson? I think taking place in 1908. I had to take notes on this. So, 1908, we had Francis. He went to, I guess the little festival or whatever. He kind of went and uncovered something, found the old man with the missing eyeball, went out to the woods later on. And the same Native American girl that he kind of swapped hands with, giving her a slingshot. And unfortunately, he found Pennywise, or what we think to be Pennywise, out in the woods. And I mean, from that point, we find out later on that 50 years later, present day general is Francis. So what did you guys think about the history lesson and kind of a lot of things they kind of unpacked? Because it's a lot of history. I mean, one of the things they kind of said was that I think that what he said that this has been going on for 300 years. And I think that Andy Muschietti's first one had kind of brought that up or uncovered certain parts of that. But the fact that we're actually getting substantial history lessons in this, I thought was really interesting. But what do you guys think about history in this one?
I mean, not even necessarily just the history lessons, but just hearing them say things like most people that leave forget, and just the how well aware they are of some of the craziness that is happening within their town.
Yeah.
It was pretty cool. And even how nonchalant the little girl was about the whole situation with the woods. Like, she warned him not to go in there, but then when they got out, she was like, "Oh no, we're good." And he's like, "The fuck you mean we're good?" Like, and she's like, "Oh no, they can't come out here." So it was just like it's just so normal to them.
Yeah.
And it makes the whole when with the government going on to their territory, it makes it so much more interesting because it's not as simple as, hey, you're taking our land. There's so much more to it because they don't know what the government really wants. They know that there's a lot more than it just being, hey, this is our land. This is just something you don't want to play with because you're gonna unleash something that then we're gonna have to deal with. So there's just so many layers to it, but it's all around just really cool to see how the past is affecting what's kind of going on, obviously, here.
I didn't even think about the Native American aspect of it because, to your point, this was 1908. It was 50 years prior. So it's do the people present day, or I guess in 1958, know
62.
what's in the woods? Do they actually know kind of what's going on? Because I could see it going two ways. She could have, everybody knows, and then just kind of keep it under wraps.
Mm-hmm.
But you know how over the years, generations, people just stop losing the history and stop caring, and they're just less aware. Do you think that the people present know
the way I saw it is I
I
honestly I don't know if everyone is well aware of it. I think that of course the woman that we saw, she's well aware of it because she saw it. I think her the family that she had knows about it due to stories and stuff. But I wouldn't be surprised if not everyone knows about it.
Mm-hmm.
But no, I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know, Jarrell. What was your take on the history lesson with Frances and with Rose, and then also how she's trying to play both sides of it? She's trying to figure out what's going on, but at the same time, she's trying to figure out how do we keep this from getting out.
Sure. I don't know. I mean, it's interesting for sure. I mean, personally, because we've already kind of had context clues that Pennywise has been around for a while prior to this episode. I kind of wish we could have seen some kind of I don't know, quasi flashback episode from the perspective of Pennywise or something. That'd be quite creepy. But because I mean, this history lesson thing, aspect you're talking about, it's interesting, but I'm just so ready to get like you've oversold me. Like I'm ready to get the Pennywise now. You know what I mean? Well, I mean, I guess it's not the worst thing to sort of like hold him off, kind of keep him in the shadows. But I'm more so just so ready to see him now. Is my biggest takeaway from this history lesson.
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot because even they kind of brought up like I guess in 1935 there was like the massacre of like the gangsters in the town like going crazy because I guess Pennywise had morphed into one of them and just like ransacked the town. And we saw that in the opening crawl. We saw like somebody like having guns out and like Pennywise like just shooting down, sniping someone.
Right.
So
Right.
I don't know. I just really loved it because it added so much more intrigue because I was like, as much as I want to see Pennywise, I actually feel like it's even more terrifying the more I'm finding out about him because I mean, I guess the next good segue is to talk about, you know, our telepath or empath, telepath. What is the person that can read minds?
Psychic.
Is that what it
Yeah,
is?
and that's what he called him. He called him
Okay,
psychic.
well, we're gonna call him the psychic then. We'll call him Professor X. Professor X was taken into the air with the two pilots, and basically we find out that Francis, of course, was his trump card was the slingshot. He still had it. He gave it to him, and he was using that. And I guess I mean this is my interpretation of it, because if he can read minds, it's kind of like what 11 does. Like 11 goes and connects, you know, from far distances based on the connection. But for him, he has to have some kind of conscious mind or some kind of consciousness that he's connecting to, because he can get in zero into whatever, I guess, object or a person's brain. And so is he connecting to a part of Pennywise's brain because of the contact that was made from the slingshot, or how do you think it actually works from a science standpoint, guys?
That's what I assumed. I assumed that the slingshot sort of opens some kind of bridge, if you will, and he can sort of just traverse into Pennywise land, I guess. Like when he's on the plane, right? When he's and the water comes up to his ankles, right? Yeah, I think that feels right. It feels like the correct interpretation.
It's just terrifying because if you remember from the movies, like that's where Pennywise goes. It's almost like going to the spider's den. Like you getting to see all the bodies that he's getting ready to devour, and we don't even know from a historic standpoint how long they've even been there. But yeah, Bizzy, what was your take on Professor X, the whole situation on the plane, and then how that all played out? Because I mean, technically, Pennywise reversed it on him. He pulled a Uno reverse, and he was about to kill himself. He didn't even realize it.
So I thought that was a really like interesting scene because they're sending these two dudes up without even letting them know like what's really going on. So luckily, of course, is it Harlan? What's the last name? The guy, or I always forget his name.
Yeah.
Luckily, he is so well aware of his surroundings, you know, because if he didn't lock in on the fact that he was not only not responsive, but then he started to get up, you know, like that guy, he would have been paint on the ground, you know. So it's good that he, like, of course, was paying attention to everything. But that entire sequence was just really cool to see. Like, I'm trying to think of other shows that have done it because I feel like it's a very normal thing for them to be like you touch an object and then you're able to see more of that, you know. So it was really interesting to see how he was kind of like navigating his like abilities, if you will. Because we just kind of took a right turn with that. Like I didn't expect for us to have a character that was I guess a psychic. So it was just really interesting to see how they kind of handled that. But now overall, I thought the scene was like super super dope. But I think just his I think what was it him that delivered that line when he was talking to the general later on, where he was like, "Hey, like we should not touch this. Like we need to stay away." You know, like I don't know, his delivery right before that was just I loved it. I loved that. I think he did a fantastic job with that entire like little monologue, if you will. But that was cool.
Yeah, there's some interesting history to Chris Chalk is the person playing the character, but the character's name is actually, and this is where Jarrell, I'm curious to see if he's going to have a reaction. I can't see his face, but Dick Halloran. Does that name ring a bell to you, Jarrell?
Not off
or Richard Halloran.
Not off top.
Okay. All
No.
right. Well, I'm gonna keep it in the bag. We'll wait. I'll wait. Because
Okay.
Jarrell is a huge Stephen King fan. I can't wait for him to talk about that. But anyway, the segue is Dick and Leroy. They're he invites them to the home, meets up with the wife, gets a handle on what's going on, and they have a conversation outside. And one of the things he kind of brought up, Will, and he realized like, yeah, I never told you I had a son. And he was like, when you brought up my son, it was almost like I felt like something was in my brain. And the last time that happened is when I got attacked. And I was like, he basically told him like, yeah, you need to stay up out of my brain. And Dick basically let him know, like, yeah, I just want to put you on that you got something going on with your brain too. Like the side of your brain that's supposed to feel fear, you don't have it. So I don't want to mess with you. I would never mess with you on any circumstance. So it was just such an interest, like the fact that these guys are having such an open conversation about something so supernatural and illogical. It shows how strong of a character both of these characters actually are. And it's almost like, like magic's going to happen from whatever the rest of their story is. And I think that this is the most interesting these two characters have been the whole entire series thus far. Because not to say that their stuff wasn't interesting, but now this is a whole nother level for me. But what did you guys think about that interaction and then what this actually means moving forward?
So I loved how his entire like demeanor changed, because he was talking, he was obviously enjoying himself and trying to have a good time, but at the end of the day, Harlan wanted to get blunt, so he's like, all right, like I'm gonna get blunt back. He's like, the part of your brain that should be fearful is not there. So like I think it was more of a like you can judge me all you want, but like you're on the same boat, And he's like, and that's why I'm never gonna fuck with you. And at first, I kind of took it as like, oh, that means they're not gonna be boys. But he meant in the sense where it's like, yeah, I might have been there in that situation, but I promise you, I am not, ever gonna do that again. And I love the way he said it too. He's like, you had a gun to your head, or you were like getting beat down, but that entire second, you weren't fearful. You were strategizing. You were figuring out how you were going to handle that situation. And he's just the way he was like delivering that too. He was just like, and that's why I will never fuck with you. That's why I want to be on your side. And I'm like, yeah, nah, I like this. I like this because he was so real for that. He wasn't chickening out. He wasn't saying, hey man, it was just orders. He just said, bro, like I'm gonna keep it a stack. That was me. It won't happen again. Promise you that, sir. Like, so the whole thing was just really cool. But like, he's throughout this episode, he's had some really, really good opportunities to deliver some fire ass lines, and he's done it.
Yeah, Drill.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have any. I'm still processing most of this, but I don't have any real insightful, in-depth thoughts yet. But it was an interesting scene, interesting 101.
There's your clue, Drill.
Yeah, so what? Just well, not related to the ball guy, but you're just talking about the supernatural aspects. Is that what you're talking about?
That is the same person.
Oh, it's the same person. Okay.
Right, The Shining. Anywho, we're gonna get into that. Yeah.
Wait, what?
Yeah. So anyway, moving forward from that point, we get back to the kids. Will and his friend are just kind of trying to enjoy their food and chill out and vibe. But, we find out that earlier in the episode, the two girls, they had it out in the bathroom. And, girl, like she was in the insane asylum and Bizzy's like, some red flags. I don't trust this lady. But the lady basically said, like, look, I would do all I can to make it right. And she just seemed so unbothered by it. And she gave her some kind of bracelet or locket as well that may have something to do with something else. I don't know. I don't want to say here. But, she goes back to the girl and she lets her know, like, look, the only thing that we can do, because they're not going to trust me, is got to find proof. And so she had a camera, and that's where Will comes in. She was like, all right, I'm going to talk to Will. We'll see if we can get him to work it out. Will's like on the fence, like, yeah, they sound crazy, but they go along with it. Go to a gosh darn cemetery, have a gosh darn seance, trying to wake up the dead, literally. And all this, it all boils down to just a lot of mistrust, a lot of foolishness. And I mean, to be honest with you, up until this point, Will had never seen anything at all. Like, it was really interesting because his friend even saw one of the ghosts. But they were attacked. Like, the ground literally shook underneath them. It was kind of like, I was like, oh man, it's about to be a Walking Dead situation. I have a comment on that, but from that point, you know, all the ghosts came out and everybody started getting attacked. And I don't know if you guys knew it or not, but the people that were there get attacked by were the kids that were dead, which is pretty messed up. But it all kind of goes to a head where they did get the pictures, and Will was kind of put in a bad situation where he was kind of stuck by himself, and he heard something. The whole entire time he didn't see anything. He ended up taking a picture in there, some kind of way made it out, barely. And, you know, they got to the area to go process the film. But that whole entire sequence and how they set that up and everything that went down with that, how did you guys feel about that? I have some thoughts, but I'm curious y'all's perspective on it.
I thought it was fantastic, actually. It was really well directed. It was first off, I was saying this before, but these are just some hard ass kids. Like, you know how hard of an evening is gonna be. It's fucking, you know, you're about to get out of class and we're about to like be down at the cemetery tonight trying to like summon something. Like, that'd just be hard as fuck. But yeah, no, man, oh man. I feel like they're all just fought, to be honest, but like good luck to them, bro. Jesus Christ. And we finally get our, you know, first glimpse at first notable glimpse at the clown.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's interesting. He was like, Pennywise was all throughout this whole entire episode without actually physically being there. We saw the red balloons, we saw a different like clown, we saw the smile on, I think it was actually a statue of Jesus that was smiling with the Pennywise smile, which is terrible. And then, like you said, like the full scope of it, I think that was the most sadistic looking version of Pennywise shown on film that I think I'd seen. It was really dark.
Well, now I'm ready for, you know, what does a whole episode of like the actual clown terrorizing these people look like?
Oh, you can't wait.
Finally.
Yeah, I don't know. Bizzy, did you have anything?
Nah, I mean, I'm on the same boat. Like, I kind of like, it's gonna be awesome when they finally do show Pennywise. But at the end of the day, I think it's just really cool, like how creative they're getting to, without like having to do like. And again, like I am gonna be so excited when he does pop up. But like the first episode with the flying demon baby, like that was just visually so cool to look at. And then even with this old man, starts as just like a skinny old man, and as you know, he gets closer to his victim, he gets bigger and bigger. It's like he's feeding off the fear. Same thing goes with like when Ronnie saw her mom, like she was massive. Like, just to see how big she was. It's just, and how like just crazy they got with the whole situation, and with the lamp, like when they're showing the skin lamp and it has faces on it after they were talking about the horrors of like yeah. So it's just like just to see, and I don't know if creative is the right word when talking about something as crazy as that, but it's I mean ultimately it's they're just going all out with the horror aspect, with the designs, if you will. So it's just fantastic to look at times. And even though I know realistically when we see Pennywise, it's gonna be fucking amazing. I'm just right now I'm still enjoying the little knickknacks they're throwing at us.
Yeah, I think, I mean, well, shout out for Andy Muschietti actually showing up in this in the very beginning. He was a dude on the piano, if y'all didn't know. This is what I'll say. I think when they showed the ghosts, right? Like the ghosts of the friends that they had lost, I feel like it's gonna sound bad coming from me. I feel like they kind of gave us a break. And this is why I'll say it. I think it'd have been more messed up is if we had seen these friends like literally digging out of their graves, like blood, decay, everything. No apparition, no flying around, but like literally coming out of the graves. I think that because it was kind of like it looked like ghosts and they were kind of twitching and stuff like that. Yeah, it was creepy, but it was kind of like for me, it was like a break. Like I was like, okay, all right, I'm not all the way invested in something terrible with this. So, but if they had went the route of like their blood and decayed bodies, like the actual, like you could actually see them and like make them out, I think that would have been horrific, and they didn't do that, and I'm happy for it. But I feel like they also gave us a little bit of a break. That's honestly the only negative or nitpick that I had in this episode, because I think by the time we get to them developing in the lab, I was like, okay, this is the perfect timing to show Pennywise, and then they break, and it was almost like, to me, a perfectly directed episode, from top to bottom. Like they gave context, the story arc that I didn't care about, they connected it. The characters I didn't know about, like they brought it into fruition. Even Leroy's character, it adds volumes, because it's kind of like, if Leroy has that part of his brain, does that mean that Will may have the ability of like not feeling fear either? It's just a lot of good questions. So I think that the episode was really well done. I don't think we've had a bad episode yet. But let's go ahead and close this up. What's our closing rating and final thoughts?
Yeah, I think. I mean, again, I think we got another solid episode. I probably got it like probably about like another 8 out of 10. I think it's great, but I think it's just literally just missing the clown for me at this stage. I guess we were sort of like 3 hours in or something. So I think that's the only maybe that's what's keeping me from a higher score, but it has been solid, and I do like the world building, and the kids are cool, so that's a big achievement onto itself before we even get to the clown, to be honest with you. It'd be like, could you imagine if, like, you know, all the kids were like annoying, or like they're like poorly written or something? So kudos there, but yeah, I'm ready to see my boy. If they succeed with this season, we could maybe see like a kind of like a Freddy Krueger effect happen with Pennywise. So good luck. But it has not been bad yet.
Man, they've been killing kids left and right, man, and terrorizing us. Bizzy, what are your closing thoughts and rating?
So yeah, no, I mean, I'm on the same boat. I think it's like an 8 out of 10. But realistically, I mean, I don't know if I just heard wrong or whatever, but going into the show, and even when they announced it, I mean, I was kind of prepared that we weren't going to see a lot of Pennywise. I mean, I don't know if they said something on the lines of like we weren't, well, much of the clown is kind of what I mean. So I kind of like, I do expect him to show up, obviously, but I'm just like not like, I guess too kind of I'm not waiting for it too badly, because I know they're gonna end up using him eventually. But I guess I was expecting just a lot of the other craziness. You know,
You're thinking like a Jaws effect, like they're gonna pull back until you actually really have to feel it.
I guess, yeah. I think they're just not gonna throw it at us. I don't think it's gonna happen until later on, and it won't be for a while. Like, I guess a lot of him, and I guess that's only because I wasn't expecting to see a lot of him. So
yeah.
As of right now, I've been content, and like I mentioned, just the craziness of some of the other characters that they've thrown at us. I mean, it's just been really cool. So overall, I'm cool with it. I still think the first episode is my favorite due to all the craziness that kind of happened there. But I am looking forward to seeing what they do with the next few episodes.
Yeah. For me, this was a B plus or A minus. I mean, I probably a B plus is only because of my thoughts on I think they could have really messed this up if it was like a zombie situation. But no, it was still a really, really good episode, and I'm really intrigued to see where it's going to go next. But hopefully you all enjoyed our spoiler-filled discussion. And Bizzy, where can everybody find your content, man?
Find me Bizzy Braun everywhere, and of course over here doing reviews for JVS. So stay tuned.
Thank you, sir. Jarrell, where can everybody find your content?
You can find that Jarrell's Alexandria. It's my main YouTube. You can find all my reviews and other projects there.
Thank you, sir. And you guys, we will be back later. We'll talk to you guys soon until episode 4. Peace, guys.